All right, so if you looked at the thumbnail, it said 95 LT1 4-speed automatic with or transmission mount replacement. So I ordered this one from Energy Suspension, and this was my one I found in the toolbox. But you can see that it has 2 holes, so it's definitely not for this car. It's probably for Turbo 400 or something. So I guess I could just throw that back in the parts drawer. Okay, so this one here, it's got 3 holes, huh? Look at that, you can put it in any one of these 3 holes. How about that? So in the Pontiac, it's like that. So I don't know if I'm gonna need the bracket here, honestly, but we'll see. So comes with some washers. It comes with some one nut. Yeah, one nut right there, 1 bolt, sorry, I should say, 1 spacer, and 1 mount. And let's see what the kit number is. So this was the kit number right there, 3.1142R. R stands for red, and it gives you directions on this, and it tells you how to open it up, blah, 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 but I'm not going to look at that. All right, so let's take a walk to the car and see what we got. Okay, so the car is up on the lift, and let me turn the radio off, so this way we don't have to listen to that in the background. Hold on a second. All right, God forbid copyright laws, right? All right, so transmission. It's got a little leak. As you can see, I got to change the O-ring in here, and I'm going to do a pan gasket, but not today. So that's something else I have to buy. All right, so I'm going to wipe this down, clean this all up. And whoop, just dropped everything. Oh well. And I'm gonna do is find it once I come back. So this plate goes on here. I guess I'm gonna look at the directions real quick to see if the plate is necessary, but I'm gonna think that I should be able to just put it right to the transmission here, just like that. So let me look at the directions real quick, and let me come back. All right, so I read the directions, and you do need to use the plate because this plate is for tension or preload, I think was the word they used. So we got to definitely use that. If you have bolts that have washers on them, then you don't have to use it. Let me just go and show you with the picture. Okay, so if your vehicle has 2 flanged bolt heads that hold the mount to the transmission case, do not use supplied flat washers. So these are not necessary if you have bolts that have heads on them. This is a preload plate, and you must put the transmission mount with the curved part facing the rear. So the curve to the rear, that sounds about right? So 311142 for Camaros, Firebirds, V8s. So okay, so our bolts are flanged, so we won't be using this. So we'll be doing this, our bolts, and that's it. Okay, so curved part to the rear, preload plate, factory bolts with factory washers. Do not use their washers, and single stud for holding it in. Now, come on, focus. Hey, we're back. This is the only one that's used. This is used for manufacturing, so we don't need that. All right, so cleaned it up a little bit. I'm gonna have to come back in here one day and change this seal because I got a little drip here, and I'm gonna have to put a service to the transmission because I've never done that since I've had the car. But I don't really drive it. It does shift pretty decently, but I don't really drive it that much, honestly. So and then while I'm in here, I might put a rear dry shaft seal in there. Got a little bit of seepage if you look right in that area right there, so you can see a little wetness there, but you know what, it's not really too wet. So all right, so let's see, dry shaft looks pretty good, and rear seal has a little bit of wetness to it. So you know what, we're gonna have the dry shaft out. We're gonna change that as well. So we'll do this 2 seals, and it's too bad this wasn't aluminum instead of the steel, but it's a LT1, so that's kind of like the stepchild of the F bodies. All right, so let me get the plate back on for the bracket to hold the mount to the body. All right, let me come back because I only have one hand. All right, so as you can see, rear cross member is on. 2 bolts there, 2 bolts there. I think they're 15mm heads here. This was a 5/8 socket and like a 12 point to tighten this up, and this was 13s because they were factory ones. So I mean, you probably could put it all together and then tighten these last, but I was trying to guesstimate because it lined up pretty well. So now I can do is I can lower the jack stand, which is good. It really didn't move much. And as you can see, the curved ends to the back, the pressure, the preload plate is there. And these I just snugged up to factory specs, which is tight and a little in my world. All right, so now we got to put this heavy cross brace on that goes here, here, and there. So they try to make these cars economical, but they put these heavy plates on them. All right, so let me put this heavy plate back up, and I'll come up and we'll wrap it up. Okay, so let's see how it looks wrapped up. So the plate, 13mm bolts hold the plate on, and you got to put this front section above the brackets. Back section just goes here to the frame. Okay, so this gives, this is a convertible, so it gives it a little more strength, I guess. But this plate probably weighs, I don't know, 5 or 6 pounds. So, you know, if you're looking for a little speed, every little bit helps. I mean, look, I already got weight reduction in the floors with a little weakness here and a little weakness here. But you know what? The car sat for a long time, and not my fault. But we'll have to address that one day. All right, so basically the other thing too is don't buy the 2-inch drop springs. Car sits too low. So, and then an energy suspension in the back works pretty well too. So all these bump stops right there are always rotted away. So it's not a bad idea to put those in for your bump stops. So, all right, let's go over what we did. Took the plate down, supported the transmission, which means you can do this on the floor at home, or in your driveway, whatever. I just happen to have a lift, so support your transmission, and then you can take the cross member down, 15mm bolts, 4 of them, and you can take the 1 bolt that holds the transmission on right here, and then you can take it down. As you can see here, I haven't cleaned up the old transmission, but here is the old transmission mount. As you can see, the rubber has broke. You know, it's not that good when rubber breaks, right? Look what happens with it. So normally these two would sit together like this, but I guess from too many hard shifts and too many hard pounds, the rubber broke. The rubber breaks. So just keep that in mind. So if you feel a bang when you're shifting gears, that's your transmission. And then it doesn't hurt to just double check the bar, because there is a rubber gasket in here, so that's still in pretty good shape. All right, so one step closer to driving it again, and future videos on the Trans Am, I hope not. Hope this is the last one I do on it for a while, because I would like to. Looks like a little water issue there, huh? I would like to not do any Pontiac videos for a while. What I will do is probably put new springs in it, because this makes the car sit way too low. I wonder if this has a water leak. All right, so let's end the video so I don't waste you guys' time. Like, comment, subscribe, and hopefully you enjoyed the video. It was informational, and we'll go from there. All right. Thanks and have a good day.